Welcome to Brainwaves. In today's video, we'll delve into the rich history of the Catholic Church. Spanning over 2 millennia, the Catholic Church is one of the oldest and most influential religious institutions in the world. Join us as we explore the significant events and transformative periods that have shaped the Catholic Church as we know it today. Welcome back to our exploration of the early Church and Apostolic Age in the history of the Catholic Church. In this segment, we will dive into the fascinating introduction of the early Church. After the death of Jesus Christ, his apostles and followers spread his teachings and formed Christian communities. These early Christians emphasized the importance of love, mercy, forgiveness, and discipleship. They gathered together to worship, study the scriptures, and share in the sacraments, creating a strong foundation for the future development of the Catholic Church. During this period, the early Church faced both internal and external challenges. Internally, they had to establish structures of leadership and governance, develop liturgical practices, and address theological issues. Externally, they encountered opposition and persecution from the Roman Empire, which viewed Christianity as a threat to its religious and political stability. As the early Church grew, it became a vibrant and diverse community of believers, united by their faith, devotion, and the teachings of Jesus. Join us in the next segments as we explore the formation of Christian communities and the trials of persecution and martyrdom that shaped the early Church. In this segment, we will explore the formation of Christian communities during the early Church and Apostolic Age. After the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, his disciples embarked on a mission to spread his teachings and establish communities of believers. These early Christian communities were characterized by their strong sense of fellowship, devotion, and communal living. They shared resources, supported one another, and worshiped together, forming the foundation for what would later become the Catholic Church. The apostles played a vital role in the formation of these communities. They traveled far and wide, preaching the gospel, baptizing new converts, and appointing leaders to oversee the local churches. They guided and nurtured these communities, provided instruction, and addressed issues that arose within them. One significant example of a Christian community during this time was the church in Antioch, where the followers of Jesus were first called Christians. These communities grew rapidly, attracting people from various backgrounds and cultures and creating a diverse and vibrant tapestry of believers. These early Christian communities laid the groundwork for the future development of the Catholic Church, emphasizing the importance of community, worship, and spreading the gospel. Join us in the next segment as we delve into the challenges of persecution and martyrdom faced by these early believers. In this segment, we will explore the challenges of persecution and martyrdom faced by the early Church during the Apostolic Age. As the early Church grew in numbers and influence, it faced severe opposition and persecution from various sources. The Roman Empire, in particular, viewed Christianity as a threat to its authority and religious stability. Christians were seen as deviating from the traditional Roman religious practices, causing tensions and suspicion. Emperors such as Nero and Domitian unleashed brutal persecutions against the early Christians. Believers were subjected to imprisonment, torture, and even death for their refusal to renounce their faith. The catacombs, underground burial places, served as both a hiding place and a symbol of Christian resistance during this time. Despite the persecution, the early Church remained resilient, and the acts of martyrdom further solidified their faith. Accounts of courageous men and women who willingly faced persecution and death rather than renounce their beliefs inspired other believers and contributed to the spread of Christianity. Their steadfastness and conviction served as a powerful testimony to the strength of their faith. As the early Church weathered the storms of persecution, it continued to grow and evolve. Join us in the next segments as we explore the significant events that followed and discover how the Catholic Church navigated its way through triumphs and challenges. Welcome to the segment on the rise of the papacy during the 4th to 8th century in the history of the Catholic Church. In this section, we will explore the primacy of Peter and the significance of the Bishop of Rome. According to Catholic tradition, Peter, one of the apostles of Jesus Christ, was appointed by Jesus as the leader of the apostles and the foundation of the Church. This belief in the primacy of Peter laid the groundwork for the establishment of the papacy. The Bishop of Rome, also known as the Pope, is considered the successor of Peter and holds a prominent position of authority within the Church. The Bishop of Rome, as the head of the Church, became increasingly influential during this period. With the decline of the Roman Empire, the papacy emerged as a significant spiritual and political force in Europe. The Pope's role expanded beyond mere spiritual leadership to include involvement in secular affairs and diplomacy. The belief in the primacy of Peter and the authority of the Bishop of Rome laid the foundation for the development of papal supremacy, which reached its zenith during the medieval period. Join us in the next segments as we explore the influence of Constantine, the development of papal authority, and the impact of Byzantine influence on the rising papacy. In this segment, we will explore the influential role of Constantine the Great and the Edict of Milan in the rise of the papacy during the 4th to 8th century. Constantine, the Roman emperor, played a significant role in the history of the Catholic Church. He embraced Christianity and became the first Roman emperor to do so. His conversion had a profound impact on the Church, as it marked a shift in the status of Christianity from being persecuted to being tolerated and even favored by the state. In the year 313, Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, which granted religious tolerance to all citizens, including Christians. This edict not only ended the systemic persecution of Christians but also allowed them to practice their faith freely and openly. This newfound religious freedom enabled the Church to flourish and solidify its position within the Roman Empire. Constantine's influence extended beyond religious tolerance. He convened the Council of Nicaea in 325, the first ecumenical council, which aimed to establish a unified doctrine for all Christians. This council played a crucial role in defining key theological concepts and strengthening the authority of the Bishop of Rome. Join us in the next segment as we delve into the development of papal authority and the far-reaching influence of the Byzantine Empire on the rising power of the papacy. In this segment, we will explore the development of papal authority and the profound influence of the Byzantine Empire on the rise of the papacy during the 4th to 8th century. As the Roman Empire declined, the Bishop of Rome, or the Pope, gradually grew in authority and prominence within the Church. The papacy became increasingly involved in matters of doctrine, administration of the Church, and even secular affairs. This development of papal authority laid the foundation for the centralized power and influence that the papacy would possess in later centuries. The Byzantine Empire, with its capital in Constantinople, played a crucial role in shaping the papacy. The emperors in Constantinople held considerable influence over religious matters, including the appointment of bishops and patriarchs. The popes maintained a complex relationship with the Byzantine emperors, sometimes in alliance and at other times in conflict. Nevertheless, Byzantine influence on the papacy cannot be understated. The Byzantine emperors also played a role in the iconoclast controversy, a period of conflict over the use of religious images, particularly icons. The popes, defending the veneration of icons, asserted their authority and independence from Byzantine influence during this controversy. The development of papal authority and the interplay between the popes and the Byzantine Empire set the stage for the future role of the papacy as a spiritual and political force in Europe. Join us in the next segments as we explore the transformative events that followed and witness the continuing evolution of the Catholic Church. Welcome to the segment on the Great Schism and East-West split in the history of the Catholic Church. In this section, we will explore the prelude to the Great Schism, a significant event that took place in the 11th century. For centuries, the Catholic Church was united under the authority of the Pope in Rome. However, as the influence and power of the Church grew, differences in language, culture, and theological interpretations began to emerge between the Eastern Orthodox Church in the Byzantine Empire and the Latin-speaking Western Church. These tensions simmered for years, and the ceremonial crowning of Charlemagne as Holy Roman Emperor by Pope Leo III in the early 9th century strained the relationship between the Eastern and Western churches. The Eastern patriarchs saw this as an infringement upon their authority and viewed the Pope's actions as a usurpation of power. Over time, disagreements concerning matters such as liturgical practices, the role of icons, the use of leavened or unleavened bread in the Eucharist, and doctrinal differences widened the divide between the East and the West. Join us in the next segments as we dive deeper into the causes of the East-West split and unravel the consequences and impact of the Great Schism on the Catholic Church. In this segment, we will explore the causes of the East-West split, also known as the Great Schism, which occurred in the 11th century, leading to the division between the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Western Catholic Church. One of the primary causes of the East-West split was the issue of the authority of the Pope. In the West, the Bishop of Rome, the Pope, held a central and influential position within the Church. The Pope claimed authority as the successor of St. Peter and the Vicar of Christ on earth. However, in the East, the patriarchs, especially the Patriarch of Constantinople, questioned this claim and believed in the collective authority of the Church, with no single bishop holding supremacy. Another significant factor contributing to the split was the divergence in theological interpretations and practices. The Filioque controversy, regarding the inclusion of the phrase, "and the Son," in the Nicene Creed, created tension between the churches. The Western Church adopted this addition to express the procession of the Holy Spirit from both the Father and the Son, while the Eastern Church viewed it as unauthorized and found it theologically problematic. Cultural differences, language barriers, and political disputes further deepened the rift between the East and the West, exacerbating the existing strained relationship. Join us in the next segment as we explore the consequences and impact of the Great Schism on the Catholic Church and the lasting effects of this division. In this segment, we will explore the consequences and impact of the Great Schism, which divided the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Western Catholic Church in the 11th century. The Great Schism had far-reaching effects on both the religious and political landscapes of Europe and the Byzantine Empire. From a religious perspective, the split undermined the unity of the Church and shattered the dream of a united Christendom. The Eastern Orthodox Church developed its distinct theology, liturgical practices, and ecclesiastical structure, while the Western Catholic Church continued to evolve under the authority of the Pope in Rome. This division created a lasting rift between the Eastern and Western branches of Christianity, leading to separate religious traditions and identities. Politically, the Great Schism exacerbated already existing tensions between the Byzantine Empire and the emerging powers of Western Europe. The separation of the churches deepened the divide between the eastern and western parts of the continent, and this division had significant implications for the balance of power and the political dynamics in Europe. The consequences of the Great Schism were profound and complex, impacting not only religious and political spheres but also cultural, artistic, and intellectual realms. The split marked a critical turning point in the history of the Catholic Church and the development of Christianity as a whole. Join us in the next segments as we delve into further historical events and significant movements within the Catholic Church. Welcome to the segment on the Reformation and Counter-Reformation in the history of the Catholic Church. In this section, we will explore the context that set the stage for one of the most significant periods of change and upheaval within Christianity. The 16th century was a time of great social, political, and religious unrest. Europe was undergoing a vast transformation, with the rise of humanism, the questioning of traditional authority, and the emergence of new ideas and technologies. In the Catholic Church, there were growing concerns about abuses and corruption within the clergy. Some clergy members were known for indulging in luxurious lifestyles, while others were involved in simony, the buying and selling of church offices. Parallel to these internal issues, the invention of the printing press increased the accessibility of information, allowing ideas to spread rapidly across Europe. This dissemination of knowledge challenged the long-standing authority of the Church and opened up avenues for new interpretations of the Bible and Christian doctrine. In this context, influential figures emerged, questioning and criticizing the practices of the Catholic Church. It was against this backdrop that the Reformation movement took hold, ultimately leading to a lasting rupture within Christianity. Join us in the next segment as we delve into the key figures and ideas of the Reformation, and explore how their actions reshaped the religious landscape of Europe. In this segment, we will explore the key figures and ideas that shaped the Reformation, a significant movement in the 16th century that challenged the authority and practices of the Catholic Church. The Reformation was marked by the contributions of many influential figures, each with their unique perspectives and ideas. Martin Luther, a German monk and theologian, is widely considered to be the central figure of the Reformation. Luther's 95 Theses, which he famously posted on the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church in 1517, questioned the sale of indulgences and criticized other aspects of Catholic doctrine and practice. Another crucial figure was John Calvin, a French theologian who developed the theological system known as Calvinism. Calvin emphasized the sovereignty of God, the doctrine of predestination, and the idea of a disciplined Christian life. Other figures, such as Huldrych Zwingli in Switzerland and Thomas Cranmer in England, played pivotal roles in spreading Reformation ideas in their respective regions. They advocated for reforms in worship, theology, and church governance. The Reformation was fueled by groundbreaking ideas that challenged long-held beliefs and practices. Sola Scriptura, the doctrine that the Bible alone has ultimate authority in matters of faith and practice, became a foundational principle for the Reformers. The priesthood of all believers, which emphasized the direct access to God through faith, also emerged as a cornerstone of Reformation theology. The ideas and teachings of these key figures and the wider movement of the Reformation profoundly reshaped the religious, social, and political landscape of Europe. Join us in the next segment as we explore the Counter-Reformation and the Catholic Church's response to the challenges posed by the Reformation. In this segment, we will explore the Counter-Reformation and the Catholic reforms that emerged in response to the challenges posed by the Reformation in the 16th century. The Reformation movement had a profound impact on the Catholic Church, leading to a period of introspection and reform known as the Counter-Reformation. The Catholic Church recognized the need to address the concerns raised by the Reformers and to regain the trust and loyalty of its followers. Central to the Counter-Reformation was the Council of Trent, a series of meetings held between 1545 and 1563. The council addressed important doctrinal and disciplinary matters, clarified Catholic teachings, and instituted reforms within the Church. It reaffirmed the authority of the Pope, upheld the seven sacraments, emphasized the importance of tradition alongside Scripture, and addressed issues such as the sale of indulgences and the training of priests. The Society of Jesus, also known as the Jesuits, played a crucial role in the Counter-Reformation. Founded by Ignatius of Loyola, the Jesuits focused on education, missionary work, and defending and spreading Catholicism around the world. The Jesuits became renowned for their intellectual rigor, commitment to education, and their missionary efforts. Art and architecture also underwent a transformation during the Counter-Reformation. Artists such as Michelangelo, Caravaggio, and Bernini were commissioned to create religious art that would inspire and evoke piety among the faithful. Elaborate churches and cathedrals were built to create a sense of awe and reverence. The Counter-Reformation succeeded in reinvigorating the Catholic Church and restoring its influence. It not only addressed the internal issues but also re-established the Church as a vibrant spiritual force. The efforts made during this period continue to shape the Catholic Church's practices and teachings to this day. Join us in the next segments as we delve further into the historical events and significant movements within the Catholic Church. Welcome to the segment on the modern era and changing social landscape in the history of the Catholic Church. In this section, we will explore the significant shifts and challenges faced by the Church in the 20th century. The 20th century was a period of immense change and upheaval, both socially and politically. Advancements in technology, communication, and transportation brought people closer together, while also presenting new moral and ethical dilemmas. Societal attitudes and values began to shift, with a greater emphasis on individualism, secularism, and the questioning of traditional authority. This changing social landscape had a profound impact on the Church, challenging its teachings and practices. World events such as the two world wars, the rise of totalitarian regimes, and the spread of communism also influenced the Church. The atrocities committed during these conflicts, the Holocaust, and other human rights abuses led many to question the role of religion in the face of such immense suffering. Advocacy for the rights of workers, women, and marginalized groups gained prominence, prompting the Church to address issues of social justice and human rights. Join us in the next segment as we delve into the key developments and challenges that emerged for the Catholic Church in the 20th century and explore how it navigated these changing times. In this segment, we will explore the key developments and challenges that shaped the Catholic Church in the 20th century. One of the key developments during this period was the rise of the laity's active participation in the Church. The Second Vatican Council, held between 1962 and 1965, played a crucial role in promoting the idea of the people of God and emphasizing the importance of lay involvement in the life and mission of the Church. The Council also addressed the need for the Church to engage with the modern world and promote ecumenism, fostering dialogue and collaboration with other Christian denominations and religious traditions. This emphasis on dialogue sought to bridge the gaps between different faiths and promote understanding and cooperation. Another significant development was the growing recognition of the dignity and rights of every human person. The Church began to address issues such as social justice, human rights, and the preferential option for the poor. Encyclicals like Rerum Novarum, 1891, and Centesimus Annus, 1991, highlighted the Church's concern for workers' rights, economic justice, and the ethical responsibility of individuals and nations. However, the 20th century also presented significant challenges for the Church. The secularization of society, declining religious observance, and the rise of atheism posed threats to the faith and the influence of the Church. The sexual revolution, changing moral values, and the widespread availability of contraception challenged the Church's teachings on sexuality and reproduction. Join us in the next segment as we explore the Second Vatican Council and its impact on the Catholic Church, as well as the efforts to address these challenges and navigate through the complexities of the modern era. In this segment, we will explore the Second Vatican Council and its profound impact on the Catholic Church in the 20th century. The Second Vatican Council, also known as Vatican II, was a historic gathering of bishops from around the world that took place from 1962 to 1965. It sought to address the needs and challenges of the modern era and bring about a renewal and adaptation of the Church. One of the key changes introduced by Vatican II was the liturgical reform. The Council called for a greater participation of the laity in the liturgy, encouraging the use of vernacular languages and incorporating more accessible and inclusive forms of worship. This shift aimed to make the liturgy more relevant and meaningful to the faithful. Vatican II also emphasized the importance of ecumenism, urging dialogue and collaboration with other Christian communities and religious traditions. This marked a significant departure from the previous stance of the Church and fostered a spirit of openness and respect for different faiths. The Council addressed the role of the Church in the modern world, asserting the responsibility of Catholics to engage in social issues and promote social justice. It recognized the dignity and equality of all human beings, underscored the importance of religious freedom, and condemned discrimination and injustice. The impact of Vatican II was far-reaching. It influenced changes in the Church's approach to interfaith dialogue, ecumenism, liturgy, and social justice. It brought about a renewed emphasis on the participation of the laity and their role within the Church. Join us in the next segment as we explore further developments in the modern era of the Catholic Church and the ongoing challenges and opportunities it faces in today's world. And that brings us to the end of our journey through the fascinating history of the Catholic Church. From its humble beginnings in the early Church to the powerful institution it is today, the Catholic Church has undergone numerous transformations, faced challenges, and made significant contributions to religion, art, culture, and society. It has been a force for both unity and division, and its influence continues to be felt worldwide. Throughout history, the Catholic Church has played a vital role in shaping the moral and spiritual lives of millions of people. Its teachings, traditions, and practices have stood the test of time and continue to guide the lives of its faithful. Whether you're a believer or simply interested in understanding the history of one of the world's major religions, we hope this video has shed some light on the rich tapestry of the Catholic Church. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Brainwaves for more educational content. Until next time.